The wait is over. The Premier League is finally back, and this season, something feels different. New signings, new managers, new rivalries, and a trophy that every big club in England desperately wants. But before the first ball is even kicked, there are already some big questions. Can Arsenal finally turn their potential into Premier League glory? Will Manchester City reclaim their dominance? Can Liverpool prove that they're still the team to beat? And what about Manchester United, Chelsea, Tottenham, and the other challengers? Could one of them shock the entire league? Because this season could be full of twists, surprises, breakout stars, and moments that nobody sees coming. And by the end of this video, I'll reveal my early prediction for who will win the Premier League title, and which team could completely surprise everyone. Now, enough talking. The Premier League is back, and the race for the title starts now. So before we start talking about the teams, let's take a moment to understand what makes the Premier League so special. The Premier League is the highest level of English football. And every season, 20 clubs compete for one of the most famous trophies in world football. But what makes this competition so exciting is that the season isn't just about one team trying to win the title. At the same time, clubs are fighting for European football. Others are trying to establish themselves in the middle of the table, while 3 teams will eventually be fighting desperately to avoid relegation. Across the season, every club plays 38 league matches. They face each of the other 19 teams twice, once at home and once away. That creates a total of 380 Premier League matches across the campaign. A win gives a team 3 points. A draw gives them 1, and a defeat gives them nothing. At the end of the season, the club with the most points is crowned Premier League champion. But here's where things get really interesting. You don't need to be fighting for the title for every match to matter. Imagine a team sitting in 15th place in March. They might be only a few points away from the relegation zone, while another win could suddenly move them several places up the table. That's how tight the Premier League can become. One weekend can completely change the picture. And at the top, the pressure is even greater. Finishing first means lifting the trophy, but finishing near the top can also mean qualifying for European competitions. For the biggest clubs, that's a huge part of the season, because Champions League and Europa League football can influence everything, from transfers and finances to the future of managers and players. Then there's the other side of the table. The bottom 3 teams at the end of the season are relegated to the Championship, which is the second level of English football. That means their Premier League status can disappear after just one difficult season. And for a club that has spent years trying to reach the top flight, relegation can be devastating. This is why the Premier League is so different from a simple title race. There are battles everywhere. At the top, you've got clubs chasing the championship. Just below them, teams are fighting for European places. In the middle, clubs are trying to build momentum and avoid getting dragged into trouble. And at the bottom, every single point can become the difference between survival and relegation. And then there's promotion. Every season, clubs from the Championship dream of reaching the Premier League. Promotion is one of the biggest achievements in English football, because it gives a club the opportunity to compete against some of the richest and most famous teams in the world. Every season, established superstars are expected to deliver, while young players get the opportunity to announce themselves to the world. A player can enter August as an unknown name, and finish the season being talked about by millions of fans. Then there are the managers. One bad run of results can completely change the atmosphere around a club. A manager who looks like a genius in October can suddenly be under enormous pressure by January. That's because expectations in the Premier League are incredibly high. And that's another reason why this league is so unpredictable. You can have the best squad on paper, but football isn't played on paper. Injuries happen. Players lose form. New signings need time to adapt. Managers change their tactics. And sometimes one moment changes an entire season. The 2026-27 season is scheduled to begin on the 21st of August 2026 and finish on the 30th of May 2027, with the final round of matches played simultaneously. The campaign contains 33 weekend rounds and 5 midweek rounds, and the opening weekend already gives us plenty to talk about. The champions Arsenal begin at home against promoted Coventry City, while Manchester United travel to face Hull City. Manchester City begin against Bournemouth. Liverpool travel to Newcastle. Chelsea visit Fulham, and Tottenham face Brentford. But remember, opening weekend is only the beginning. A Premier League season is a marathon, not a sprint. A team can start brilliantly and then collapse months later. Another team can struggle during the opening weeks and suddenly find incredible form in the second half of the season. That's why nobody can afford to relax.